Some time ago, I asked people on Twitter what they would call the opposite of gatekeeping, and I got quite a lot of responses, I would say. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comment. I think I responded to like two, but this is what I was planning to use these for. I wrote down some interesting suggestions you guys had. I think like six people said sharing slash oversharing. Like sharing, I feel like is too much of a common used word for me to like accept this as a term for that, for like anti-gatekeeping, because it is also used in other contexts, which I mean, thank you for your contributions. It's just, it didn't speak to me. Maybe oversharing is slightly more what I was looking for. Two people said propaganda, which is extreme, but I really liked it. It made me slightly laugh to like the idea of me sharing, firstly sharing my interest being propaganda. Because if you somehow ended up here on the internet watching my videos, which probably means you are from Twitter, means you probably know what gatekeeping is. But if you don't, gatekeeping is just keeping your interest or like some information from the general public, which I think is most common in the music sphere. I often like music Twitter, which I'm not really like a part of, but I see it on my timeline sometimes. People are like, I found this niche band, and they like blur every possible detail that could lead you to find them. And they're like, I love them, but I'm not going to share them. Which, okay, I really do not understand why people gatekeep. Like, okay, I do, because it does make you feel like special and cool and like you're different from everybody else because you listen to this cool niche band and nobody knows them. But if it's a band you truly love, I mean, I personally want to share it with everybody else, it's just nobody listens to me. Or just, I don't know, I feel if I was tweeting about, I don't know, 20 bands a day that I love on Twitter, I think everybody would unfollow me. So I'm sharing this here. Let's get to like other suggestions people had for what the opposite of gatekeeping could be called. So yeah, we had sharing slash oversharing, propaganda. Somebody said imposing. This is also good. This is like the actual opposite. Would be like forcefully telling people your interest and forcing them into it. Somebody said autism, which yeah. So yeah, somebody said also interest dumping. Yeah, so yeah, autism. Somebody said I just call it me being annoying, which yeah, that is kind of the reason how I kind of end up gatekeeping. It's because I just feel like me just tweeting or like coming at my friends and being, listen to this band, check them out, check them out. I feel slightly annoying, and that's how I end up gatekeeping. It's never to like feel special, because I would really love to have people to talk to about these things, because these are like a huge part of my life. I listen to music so much in my day-to-day life. Yeah, I'm coming on here to do that, but yeah, let's get over some more suggestions I got on that tweet. Somebody said advertising, which, yeah, that is advertising. So this is free advertising for the bands and artists I'm about to introduce you to. Somebody said welcoming, which I really like that. It's nice. Like, it has a positive connotation to it. So I guess yeah, I like the suggestion welcoming. And some people try to do like wordplay on the word gatekeeping itself. So somebody commented gate opening, and another person said gate sharing. Somebody did like the actual opposite of gatekeeping. So they said fence losing, which I think is really funny. And then another person said opening the gate and freeing the soul. Big fan of that. Unfortunately, it is slightly too long to be like in common use, but I love that because it is. What I'm about to do is free my soul from like just, I don't know, I feel like I'm alone in my interests in some of these. So yeah, I'm about to share all of it with you. Not all of it, a lot of it, but yeah, because I would sit here for hours if it was all of it. The last spin on the word gatekeeping, somebody just said broken gate. Yeah, I'm about to break the gate open. The thing that made me laugh the most out of all of these was whatever happens whenever Dan Howell opens his mouth. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm about to like go full Dan Howell on you. I'm about to dance beat of the week on you, but it's not the week, just my entire life. I'm about to unload so many beats on you. Thank you to the people that contributed to this. Sorry I didn't get to your comments. I'm about to probably like serial like them. Let's get to the point of the video because this is just a long-winded introduction to what I'm about to do to you, which is share my interests, open the gate to the Polish music I listen to, because if you somehow don't know, I'm Polish. My name is Michał. Hi. I'm going to start with the more popular musical bands and artists because I want to also make this as an introduction to non-Polish people to Polish music, which I guess the most popular music is also the most digestible. Could be the word, I guess. Yeah, Polish music is the thing I probably listen to the most, alongside music in English. But a lot of people in Poland, especially around my age, like barely any of my friends listen to music in Polish besides rap and hip hop. Not to hate on rap and hip hop, there are some Polish hip hop artists slash rap artists that I really like and I listen to sometimes and I don't mind listening to with my friends. But I personally love rock music the most, and I listen to some pop also and some metal, though there is not that much Polish metal I listen to. The first artist I want to introduce you to is Dawid Podsiadło, which, don't quote me on that, but I think he is one of the most popular pop artists in Poland. The genre of pop is not like pure pop, it is indie pop with like synths and electronic elements, which I really like. He also his earlier music is kind of more rock. It's kind of like sometimes pop rock, I would say. He was also the lead singer of an alternative rock band, the Curly Heads, which unfortunately only released one album, but it is still really good. I really like it. David is well known for his collabs with other musicians, such as Daria Zawiałow or Artur Rojek, which, if you're not Polish, they probably don't mean anything to you, these names, but they are also icons of Polish pop, and Artur Rojek also Polish rock. His band, which I'm going to get to later, is on its way to becoming classics in Polish rock music. One thing about Dawid Podsiadło I really like, if you are not sold on listening to music in other languages, which I'm not gonna say is fine, you should definitely try it out, because I also don't only listen to music in English, which I can understand, and in Polish, which I can understand. I really love listening to music in other languages, such as Slovenian, for example. You can also listen to David's music in English, because his earlier stuff, he has some songs in English, and the entire album, Ruby Dress Skinny Dog, or something like that, like the Curly Heads only album, is entirely in English, which I highly recommend you give a listen to. Dawid Podsiadło is, I think, one of the 3 artists that I have all CDs from, because I have a CD collection, which I plan to make a video on later. I also have a sticker of Dawid Podsiadło on my wall, like over there. It is mostly covered by my laptop, because it serves the purpose of covering up a stain on the wall. The next musical artist, or band rather, I want to introduce you to is the band Kult, which is an iconic Polish rock band. They have been performing for like 44 years, if my math is correct. They tried and have experimented with a lot of different rock genres. The lead singer of the band, Kazik, has countless solo projects, which are also really good, like Kazik na żywo or Kazik and Kwartet Pro Forma, which I really like also. I really love their music. It's something I've been listening to for years, because My parents also love their music. Like, the band is iconic. Like, when I say iconic, I mean iconic. Like, almost every person knows them. They may not listen to them because, yeah, their music is not for everyone, but they know them. The third band I want to introduce you to is the band Pijama Porno, which I don't know if I can say on YouTube. I might have to censor that. It is difficult enough trying to search for their merch on like Vinted and to search for their websites on Google. I have to go like pajama band. I cannot write pajama porno into the Google search. Pajama porno is a band that is also quite iconic. It is less known than Cult, but they have been around just slightly shorter than Cult. They emerged in the late 80s and they have stuck through it. There have been many, hiatusi. They have like undergone many formation changes, but they still perform to this day. Their music was originally very punk rock. Then they kind of transitioned into more just like alternative rock. They have some ska and reggae influences to them. I really love their music. It spans a whole wide range of emotions. I can listen to it when I'm feeling just like silly because they have very light-hearted songs that jab at like the newest generation, or like not the newest, but the younger generation than theirs, because they are 60-year-old men, which is called Twoja Generacja. It's a fun song to listen to. It very upbeat, but they also have very deep and touching songs. Which one of my favorites is Kotów kat ma oczy zielone, which is a deeply metaphorical song about suicide. They are the second artist I have the full collection of CDs from. They have also some songs in English. They're not a great level of English, but you can understand them. And they also have one song in Serbian, of all languages, which is one of my favorites. The lead singer, Grabash, he also has done some solo stuff. He also writes poems. Sometime in the very early 2000s, Grabash decided to create another band for his more melodic project, which is Strachy na Lachy. Which, what is that? I have a poster of theirs on my wall. This is a signed poster I got at one of their concerts. It was signed before the concert, but I have a photo of them and I have it printed out. The person I'm covering up is my brother, because my entire family, we're fans of Strachy na Lachy. They're probably the artists I have listened to the longest. Some of the songs are not all that different from the songs Pijama Porno has released, but they are definitely more melodic, kind of, sometimes even pop rock. This is like alternative rock, pop rock, with folk influences as well as ska and reggae influences. One of my favorite songs, and the best song I have heard live, is Dygoty. It is genuinely heavenly to listen to that live. Strachy na Lachy is the first band I ever went to a concert of. I think it was in 2018. I've seen them live, I think, like 4 times. Another Polish rock band I have seen live are Myslowice. Their music is like alternative rock. For some reason, on their Wikipedia page, it says that they're Britpop. I don't know how a Polish band from Myslowice can be Britpop, but it says that on their Wikipedia page. I think Myslowice, out of all the rock bands I'm about to mention, are the most well-known among people my age. Not everybody listens to them, obviously, like, the same for Cult, but there are way more young people that actually do listen to them. My sister loves them, my brother loves them, my friends love them. Myslowice music is something we grew up with. Scenariusz dla moich sąsiadów is a song you would hear on the radio or at parties. Remember when I mentioned Artur Rojek? Artur Rojek was originally the lead singer of Myslowice, but I don't know in what year, but he left the band and to pursue his solo career, which is more pop. Another iconic Polish rock band that I listen to is Manam, which is a female-led rock band. Their music is alternative rock, but it started off as new wave slash post-punk. Some songs are very upbeat and fun. Some songs are very clearly post-punk. I don't have any better words to describe it, but it really drew me in when listening to them. Unfortunately, the lead singer Cora is dead. She died in 2017, I think. Rest in peace. She was truly an icon, and she is missed. Also, I haven't mentioned this already, but I'm going to include a playlist with songs from the bands I mention here, so go check that in the description. And while you're down there, you can subscribe to me, because I don't know. I think this is going to be a two-parter, and the second part is going to come out later. Speaking of Polish rock bands with female lead singers, let's talk about, hey, I really like their music. It is like alternative rock, sometimes kind of like pop rock. They are also quite iconic. They are less known because I think like a lot of people probably know their music, but they don't know them as a band. In 1997, they released a song from which the proceeds would go to the victims of the Great Flood in Poland. And then later, the song was also used to raise funds for those affected by the flood in 2024. I think it was. The lead singer of the band, Katarzyna Nosowska, holds the record for the most Fryderyk Awards received. To the foreigners, Fryderyk Awards are the Polish equivalent of a Grammy. Another rock band I love is Republika. They also kind of like Manam started off as more new wave slash post-punk, but then slowly like transitioned into more rock as time went on, I think. The lead singer also had a successful solo career. Unfortunately, he did pass away in 2001. Rest in peace, Grzegorz Ciechowski. I don't know, for a lot of these bands, I struggle to find words to describe their music. Not because it is not distinct from each other, but because I lack the vocabulary to describe it. I am just a music fan. I don't make music. I don't know any music theory. I don't play any instruments. I cannot really sing. So I'm just an observer. Forgive me that it's not giving you much besides the genre, but I cannot play any of these songs on YouTube on this video because I don't want to get copyright striked. That's why I'm including a playlist in the description, because there's no other way for me to go about this, unfortunately. One of the most interesting Polish rock bands to me is the band Koma, which they make alternative rock, but also alternative metal. I really like their more metal-leaning stuff. It really draws me in. They have a lot of long songs with like epic guitar solos. One thing I originally forgot to mention while recording this video is that my username Rocking on the Web is inspired by a cover Pyjama Porno did, which is Rocking in the Free World, the Neil Young song that they covered. I really like it. I recommend the cover and the original song itself. Although I'm not as familiar with it, I think I've like listened to it once to be like, oh yeah, that is a cover of that. Another artist I want to recommend you is Czesław Śpiewa, and more specifically his album Songs for the Gatekeeper, which I think are very accurate to this video's theme. I've been listening to it a lot the past couple of days. It's really fun. Most of the songs, I think, there's like 9 songs on the album, and I think 8 of them are in English. Like, if a children's song was alternative rock, because I don't listen to Czesław Śpiewa that much, but this album, I just like found it and thought it would be appropriate to share with you for this video. Okay, now this next artist I want to introduce you to is slightly more niche, still like pretty known. Like, it's like, she's not obscure, but she's not as well known as the other bands and artists I just told you about, except maybe Czesław Śpiewa, though by looking at Spotify listeners, technically she has less, like half of what Czesław Śpiewa has. Her name is Maria Peszek. I really like her music. It's like alternative pop with these synth and electronic kind of influences. I really like it. Her music has feminist and queer themes to it, and she also is not afraid to sing about mental struggles. And she also does like slightly political commentary, like she has definitely some anti-war songs. Obviously, since it's pop, there's also a lot of love songs. It's another artist my mom introduced me to. I recommend her music if you like pop, but alternative pop. Yeah, it definitely deviates from the mainstream typical pop. The next band I want to introduce you to is the band Koniec Świata, which are a punk rock band, but I think their music to me, especially their maybe newest stuff or just like some stuff sounds to me more like pop rock, which is okay. I really like their music. It's upbeat, it's catchy. It has a lot of wind instruments, which I love. I don't have much more to say about them. I'm not that knowledgeable about them as I am on Strach na Lachę or Pijama Porno, but I really like their music. And about the playlist, I'm going to include some artists that I haven't mentioned here that are smaller and I don't really have much to tell you about them, but I still really like their music, and I'm going to include my favorite songs from them as well, because this is also definitely going to be a two-parter. I'm still not done with naming bands and artists I listen to regularly that are that I want to recommend to you and share with you. But obviously, I cannot like name 50 bands and artists in one single video and have something to say about them because some of these have less than 10,000 listeners, and there's barely any info on them on the internet. So it would be just me, I don't know, telling you the name of the band. That's the most info I have on them.